Welcome to Sally Melodies classroom where we learn basic music. We are still in melody writing and this is lesson 3. I thought it is good we remind ourselves about a few things that we did in the previous lessons when we started. Remember, we have something called a scale. If you can recall what we said, a scale is a sequence of notes from the tonic to the last one here, which is an upper tonic. It has 8 notes, or rather 7 notes, because the 8th one is a repetition of the first one but on a higher pitch. These are letter names. So I have just taken a scale of C. I've taken a scale of C. Any scale can do. And then below there, I have taken the solfas, the solfa ladder, from Do to the higher Do. And then I thought it is also good we remind ourselves about the degrees of scale. The degrees of scale. This is how we label the chords or the scale. Like number 1, it is in capital Roman, and then number 4 and number 5. So chord 1, chord 4, chord 5 have been labeled in capital Roman with a reason. So it's not a mistake. They have been labeled that way with a reason. The reason being they are major scales or primary scales or primary chords or major chords. They are very major, and we shall look at them and know why they are major. And then the ones that have small Romans, chord 2, chord 3, chord 6, those ones we call them minor or secondary chords. We shall come to see why they are called minor. And then here, the 7th one here, it has something like a 0 here up. It means that it is diminished. It is diminished. So, it is more than a minor. We are going also to look at that. And then, finally, we have the upper tonic there. So, we are not going to first do the triads and chords. We are only going to deal with the single notes so that we remind ourselves what we are required to do. We shall do formations of triads and chords in the next few lessons that are coming. But now, I thought it is good we look at it. So you take your scale. You take your scale here and then you write it into letters. I have taken the scale of C. You can use D, E, F, G, A, but we cannot write everything here, so I've just chosen one. And then below the letter names, you give each letter name. You give each letter name a solfa below it, so that things will be easier for you. You just start looking at things going down vertically, and then you consider the labeling of the Roman numbers. And as I have said, there are those that are in capital and others are in small Romans. So the ones in capital are the ones we are going to be using most at this level. I don't want us to touch on the minors first. We are going to use the major chords so that we can make our melodies. And then these were degrees of scale. And then here we have the technical names of each letter or each chord. So the first one here is tonic. We remind ourselves. We have the tonic, we have supertonic, we have the mediant, we have the subdominant, we have the dominant, we have the submediant, we have the leading note, and we have the upper tonic. They are all the same. It is only that something has 2 names. Something can be described in different ways. So if you hear people talk about the dominant, do not be confused. Just know that it is chord 5. If you hear people talk about the leading note, do not be confused. Just know that it is the 7th. If you hear people talk about supertonic, just know that it is chord 2. When you hear people talk about subdominant, just know that it will be chord 4. So it is good to know the degrees of scale, the way they are written, the ones that are in capital and the ones that are in small Roman. And it is also good to know the technical names of each. It is good to keep studying. You can just take the first one from 1 up to 3 and then you memorize. And then once you get, you take other 3 and then you take other 2. And then when you keep on memorizing and talking about them, you will never forget. As we said, musical journey is a long journey that starts with a single step, and you cannot achieve all these things in a day. You must keep on practicing, revising, and doing a lot of practical things. So, down here, we are saying that now, when you are making your melody, you must choose the key and the time signature, because that is what will even help the other trainers to look at your score and know that your song is on a certain key and you have chosen a certain time signature. So that one is very, very important. There are so many things to consider, including the clef, including the performance directions and all those. But now, the most basic thing is the key. Like now, we have chosen C. Our scale is C or our key is C. Ensure that you indicate whether you are writing it on a solfa notation, whether you are writing it on a staff notation, ensure that the key has been indicated. And then we say that when you are writing your melody, there is another rule that you need to follow. You start with the members of chord 1 and end with members of chord 1. And then the second last note will be a member of chord 5. That is now down there as we finish our song at the final cadence or the perfect cadence. We are going to look at cadences. Now, number 2, what am I saying about this second point? I'm saying when you are writing your song, the members of chord 1 are either do, mi, or so. When we are making the triads, we are going to look at them. So ensure that your song either starts with do, mi, or so. Those are members of chord 1. We are going to make triads and chords and see how they relate. But at this point, ensure that your song either starts on a do, a mi, or a so, because that is a very strong chord. And then at the end there, ensure that it also ends with chord 1, which is a do. And then ensure that this second last note before you close your song, it is a member of chord 5. It can be a T. We are going to look at it. I would like you to take a piece of music, or you sing a song and play those solfas on your piano, and you will hear that a song either starts with do, it either starts with mi, and it either starts with so. And then at the end, it ends with ti do, ti do, ti do, or re do, ti do. We said that unless it is in minor key or minor chords, it is either start with a do, a mi, or a so.